Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm Katie, and today is the mid-year book freakout tag. So I did say in my calendar view that I am late to the game. Technically I am because everybody puts theirs out in June, but I just figure I want to wait until the full 6 months are gone before I film the mid-year book freakout tag because, come on. What if you find like a new favorite book or a new disappointment like on June 30th and you're like, oops, I already filmed that. If you're like me, that's what I would do. And the mailman just came anything good. I can see him from my window. Nothing that great. Okay, but I am expecting something. Just was hoping for something extra, but nothing. Okay. Mid-year book freakout tag. This is one of my favorite things to do during the year because we just get to talk about goals and everything, and I'm going to go through my reading goals as well at the end of this video to see how I'm doing on those. Why not? So the best book that I've read so far in 2024, now I have a couple, and there's one that I can't find for some reason, but I'm going to mention that one first, and that is To Catch a Coronet by Grace Hitchcock. Loved it. Phenomenal. If you love romantic comedies, historical fiction style, read it. It's so good. I have Love Overboard by Shannon Sue Dunlap, which is a rom-com, hilarious, think Golden Girls mixed with The Love Boat. It's hilarious. It's fun. It's a good time. Really loved it. Clean romance. Absolutely recommend it. Offsides by Laurie Z. Scott. This is a YA sports book. It deals on tough topics of sex trafficking and like what to do if you encounter that in your own neighborhood. But it's just a phenomenal story. It had me gripped pretty much the whole way through, and I loved it. I love the author. And she does an amazing job with tough topics and great storytelling. Loyally Luke by Paperbacks. This is the third book in the Skimar series by her, and absolutely loved it. Luke has been my favorite character since book one. I could not wait to get his story, and it is still an absolute favorite. I love Luke. I love just his character. I loved the romance. I love that he's a guy who wants nothing to do with a Hallmark story, yet we throw him right into the middle of a Hallmark story. So it was just great, and I loved it. And For a Lifetime by Gabrielle Meyer. This is the third book in the Timeless series. If you love time traveling and just phenomenal storytelling and gripping storylines and stories that will make you cry and pray for the characters that they'll be all right, you have to pick up this series. It is fantastic. It is my favorite series of all time. It's so good. And I have such a great time reading it, and I cannot wait for the next book in the series to come out. The best sequel I've read so far in 2024. And I have two of those, and I just mentioned them in the last question, and that is For a Lifetime by Gabrielle Meyer and Loyally Luke by Paperbacks. Both of these, I can't choose which one. They're just so phenomenal, so good. Two completely different stories. Both have romance in it, though, and both are just fantastic storytelling. So I cannot love these more than I do. And I just really love them so much. And I keep telling Pepper, you need to write a novella of Luke being a girl dad. He is a total girl dad. I can picture him, watching the princess movies and having tea parties, even though he's such a, He-Man type of guy. He also loves his girls. So, yes. So those two would definitely be my favorite sequels of 2024 so far. New releases that I haven't read yet, but want to. And there's a lot of them, I'm sure. And these are just a handful of what I'd like to read that came out this year. First is Darkness Calls the Tiger by Danielle Trump. I actually just started this the other day, last week, and I am thoroughly enjoying it right now, and I know I'm going to enjoy it. It's a World War II fiction set in Burma, and who's read a historical fiction book set in Burma? That is totally different than any book I've read of World War II so far yet, and I'm really enjoying kind of the It's almost telling a story of like a village girl, but she is the daughter of missionaries, but she's lived in Burma her entire life, and her dad wants her back in America, and she's like, I don't want to go. Like, this is my home. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I think I'm about 10% of the way through, but so far really loving it. Meet Me at the Starlight by Rachel Hauck. This is a women's literary fiction, maybe a little bit of romance, but the cover just screamed at me when I saw it on Baker Bookhouse's website. I was like, check, need to read, check. So I did request this book for a review. So excited to read it and talk to you about it. It's gonna be a good time. And again, that cover just screams summer. It's a perfect, it's a good time. The other two books that I have that I want are also books that I requested for a review. And I think I'm going to absolutely love them. So the first one is The Stitches of Corinth by Angela Hunt. I read the first book in this series. I think it's the Emma series. Yes, it is. And it was one of my absolute favorite reads of last year. I loved it so much. And I have no doubt this is going to be just as good. I did start it a little bit. I think I read like the first 4 or 5 pages. Just really haven't gotten into it, but I know once I do, I'm going to love it because people have been just loving this book when they read it. So I can't wait to continue it. And then the last one is, yes, I still have yet to read Jamie Jo Wright's Night Falls on Predicament Avenue. I do plan on reading this book in July, actually all of these in July. So I should be getting to this one very, very soon. But if you don't know Jamie Jo Wright, she writes creepy, sometimes ghostly stories, but they always have an explanation. They're not really ghosts. They're always like, the Scooby-Doo type feel to them. But I love her books. They always have just a good amount of creepy without being, they're not horror. They're more suspenseful creepy. And I can't wait to dive into this one as well. I see this cover so many times. I'm like, I've read this. No, I haven't. I still need to read it. So it will be read. I'm hoping to finish it by next week, maybe even by the time this video goes up. My most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. Now, I thought I didn't have any. I'm like, there are tons that I'm pretty excited about. But there wasn't any that I was like, ooh, I have to read once I get it into my hands. But surprisingly, there actually was. And I was like, I totally forgot they were coming out this fall. So we have Brave by Misu Andrews. I love her. Her biblical fiction is fantastic. Just the research she puts into her stories and her characters and timelines. I don't know how she does it. She just writes so phenomenally. And she's actually starting to write for Bethany House, I think. Or it could be Revell. Could be wrong. It's one of those. But just, I love her so much. And I cannot wait to get my hands on that one. It's going to be great. And then the next one is Across the Ages by Gabrielle Meyer. This is book 4 in the Timeless series. It's coming out in fall, and I cannot wait. It has to do with pirates. Pirates. Are you kidding me? Pirates. Yes, please say less. I will be reading it. And then the next one is Tea with Elephants by Robin Jones Gunn. Basically because of the cover and the title. I mean, tea. That's my favorite drink if I had to choose between tea and coffee. And it has elephants on the cover. And I did actually intern with elephants at my local zoo. So I love that there's elephants in this story. And I can't wait to read it. And then the last one is, technically I've already read it, but I'm still excited about the release. And that is Hope Like Wildflowers by Paperbacks. Fantastic. I loved it. It is on my top reads of the year. I can't wait for you guys to pick it up. It is fantastic. I'm so thankful that I got to read an early copy of it. It's so good, and you're going to really, really, really like it. For those of you who have been waiting for Kizzy's story, just wait. It's coming soon. I'm so excited. Okay, now we get into the biggest disappointment. And I'm really sad about this one. So I did give this book 3 stars. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. I just was expecting it to be 5 stars. And I probably have books that were bigger disappointments, but this is the first one that came up, and that is Lady Jane Disappears by Joanna Davidson Politano. I'm sorry, Joanna. She is such a sweet lady, and I did still like it. It didn't have that impactful punch that I was hoping for, as I got from The Lost Melody by her, which was my first read. And so I was just like, there was just so many slower parts in this book, and I didn't feel a close connection to the characters as I did with the other book. And yeah, that's kind of why it just, it got just a meh rating from me. But I still did like it, and it's gonna stay on my shelves. It's gonna stay on my shelves because it is Joanna and I love her. So that's probably one of my biggest disappointments, is just the fact that I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. My biggest surprise of the year so far, Offsides by Laurie Z. Scott. I didn't know what to think about this book when I got it. I got it to read, and I can't tell you how much this book impacted me. Based on the cover, you wouldn't think how much stuff is put into this book. It's like, oh, it's just, it's a soccer player in a green background. Like, how much could this story actually hold? This is one time, please don't judge a book by its cover, although the green is phenomenal. I love this green. But it is one of the most impactful stories I have ever read. It is stunningly written, and just, it broke my heart, but it was so much filled with hope as well. I couldn't put it down. I absolutely love this book. I'm so happy that I have a copy on my shelves because it is just phenomenal. And if she comes out with another book set in this world, she does have another one, which I didn't love as much as this one, but it was still good. But definitely pick up Offsides by Laurie Z. Scott. It is fantastic. Favorite new author, or new to me author, debut author. I'm going to mention two. I was only going to mention one, but I want to mention two. And I think this author is a debut author. Don't quote me. But Shannon Sue Dunlap, Love Overboard. If she continues to write like this, she is definitely already in like my top 10 authors of all time. She has just a wit and banter style about her that I absolutely love. It was fun, and it was just a great time. I love the older generation in this book. The matchmaking grannies, they were hilarious. I love them. So definitely that. Plus Grace Hitchcock, I read To Catch a Coronet by her this year, and I already have another series that I have on my shelves that I want to read because it was just that good. And I was like, I need to read everything that she has ever made because it was just phenomenal. And she does have quite a few books out. I would say maybe a good 10 to 15 books, roughly. So I have a good deal of her backlist to check out and have fun with. Newest fictional crush. There are a few great guys this year. One of them obviously has to be Luke from Loyally Luke. When I was finished with this, I was already a Loyally Luke lady. But just he is just, I don't know, there's something about him where like he's just the sweetest guy, but like he's not super romantic. No, that's probably the only downside to him is like, you might not get, lovey-dovey with you, but like he is loyal to a fault. He's kind and trustworthy and just the sweetest man you're ever gonna meet, and he's funny, absolutely funny. And yeah, he's definitely I wouldn't say new crush because I've had a crush on him since book one, but he got his own book this year, so we're gonna count it as a new crush even though technically he's not. And then the guy in Grace Hitchcock's To Catch a Coronet, that guy, definitely liked him as well. I don't remember his name at the moment. I'm not very good with names, but he was definitely a catch. I really liked him too. And then I think I'm going to mention this guy. This is When the Ocean Moors by Chelsea Estes. And this is about a guy who is a martial arts legend, I guess, and he goes to Japan to defeat the champion. And I really enjoyed his character. I loved him. I loved that he really had a moral compass. Like, he was really attracted to the female character, but he's like, I can't get too attached to her. He was a godly Christian man. He's like, I'm not gonna, do anything to jeopardize my relationship with the Lord. And I really loved his character. And he was also good looking too. They call him the Golden Lion. He had really long blonde hair, muscular, and I was just like, that's pretty good looking, I'm sure. So yeah, I did really enjoy his character as well. So really liked him too. Newest favorite character. And I don't know if I have my book or not. I do not have my book. I thought I brought it upstairs. Keep losing stuff sometimes. You ever do that? But anyways, I am going to choose, her name is Audie from Coal Black Lies by Cindy K. Sproul's. You guys, that little girl, the first time she appeared in the book to the last time she appeared in the book, I was like, she had me wrapped around her little finger and wouldn't let go. She was the sweetest, most darlingest girl I've ever read in a book. Just Cindy K. Sproul's, I love her books. She writes just so much heart and passion in her stories, and it's phenomenal. So this little girl, I think she may have Down syndrome. It kind of sounds that way, but like they didn't know about that way back in like the early 1900s, late 1800s. So they didn't really know about Down syndrome, but like they described how her face was a little off. She had bigger hands. And so I think that's where the author was going with that. But just Audie's character and her love and her joy and how she interacted with each character just blew me away, because I can see that the author had a connection with people who had that. And I think she said her son has it, I think. Don't quote me, but I think she does. So she had that connection, and I could just see it through the writing. And Audie just had this incredible journey throughout the story, and I loved her character so, so much. So I would definitely say hers is my favorite character so far. Maybe even of all time. I really just loved her character. A book that made me cry. A few have made me cry, honestly. Quite a few have, actually. Offsides by Laurie Z. Scott. Probably the biggest cry of the year. Yeah, I would say so. It was emotional and heartbreaking, but it was so, again, filled with hope, and I just really loved it. I don't think I cried really until like the last couple of chapters, but I was like, are you doing this to me? Why? It's so good. So that one definitely did. I didn't cry really in For a Lifetime by Gabrielle Meyer, but I came close. And like my throat, or my heart was in my throat in a few moments, so definitely came pretty close to crying a few times in this book. And a book that made me happy. I cannot. I mean, The Love Overboard by Shannon Sue Dunlap. I was never more happier than reading this book. It was phenomenal. It was just such a good time. This book made me so happy reading it. I was like, this would automatically, like, I need like 10 books in the series, because it was just so much fun. And you could do so many things with these matchmaking grannies. And I loved it. It just made me so happy reading it. And if you want a feel-good, happy, fun time book, you need to read this one. Most beautiful book you bought so far this year or were gifted? I don't know, honestly. Darkness Calls the Tiger by Daniel Trump. I don't know what it is about the cover, if it's the colors or the like the smokiness with the tiger in the foreground. I really like this cover, and it's definitely in my top covers of the year. So this was gifted. Well, swapped. At a book event. It was swapped and gifted to me. But I really love this cover. I don't know what else that I got that like would top this, or like, I would probably just say this one. I really like this cover. And the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Everything? Just everything that I can squeeze in. I mean, how can you really answer that? I mean, I don't know. Just the only goal I really have, and I really want to work hard on, is to have a clean slate for the new year. I was very close to doing it last year, and I want to do it again this year. I want to have a clean slate at the end of the year for review books. Anything from publishers, anything from friends, anything that I just need to have a clean slate with. That's my only goal. So those are the books that I need to complete, and I'm not doing terribly, but I am still behind in reviews. But I do try to get to the books within a year if I really try hard to. I just have a lot of books. And, you know, I think authors really understand, though, because I do try to stay in communication, say, I'm sorry I haven't got to your book yet. I'm trying. I started it. It's just, there's so many books and so little time. Isn't that true? So, but I do want to start off with a new clean slate next year, so we're going to try. I have my lovely reading journal and all of my goals, which another goal is to fix this page because I put my 24 books in 2024 to read. I put my Bible books to read on this page instead of where it's supposed to go. So we need to fix that one. Oh well. Anyways, as far as reading goals go, one was to keep up to date in my journal. I don't know if I can put a check mark at that at the end of the year. I usually do, but I've had to catch up a few times this year already. So I really don't think I can actually put a check mark there. I mean, by the end of the year, I'm all caught up with my reading journal because I really do try to keep up with it. But I don't keep up with it like every book. Like it's like every 10 to 15 books, if I'm being honest, when I update my journal. Next year I hope to do a little bit better than that. So that one I can't cross off. Finish reading 5 series. Check. I did that. I actually got more than that, I think. I do have to update that as well. But so far I have 7 that I finished. Oh no, sorry, wrong page. I have 8 completed series. 8. They're over here. So that's not bad. Not bad at all, which I'm really happy about. But there's a lot more that I'm currently in the middle of and a lot more that I've started. So we'll see how that goes. All right, the next one is 24 books to read in 2024. Technically, I don't even have that page in my journal. So I don't know how I'm doing. I do know that I've read at least 3. That might be one goal that I have not completed and will not complete. I'm sad to say. I don't know if I've ever completed my priority list. That's bad. Okay, the next prompt is Read Around the World-a-thon, which is my yearly readathon. And so far, I am on. I've read 1 book a month. I am doing excellent with that. I have not done ahead. I have not, because sometimes with readathons, I usually either wait until the end of the year, see what fits. Not normally. But usually I take the first couple months and just squish everything in. But for my own readathon, I'm really trying hard to only read 1 book per month. And I have accomplished that. I finished June. I was very close to not finishing June, actually, because I had a book planned for it was a book that's been translated into a language you'd like to learn. No, you do not have to learn that language. But I was going to choose an African that's been translated from Africans into English, and I forgot. And so I looked back at the books I read, and thankfully I found one that was translated to Italian. And I took 1 year of Italian in high school, and it's definitely a language that I really love, and it's close because I am part Italian. So thankfully that fit. So I am on track to finishing my readathon. And it's never too late to join. If you want to join in late, I know somebody who finished the readathon the first month and then just started doing it over again. So it's never too late. I'll link it down below. The next reading goal that I had was to read 1 book by each author that I was going to meet at the Fiction Reader Summit this past year. And I didn't read another book by an author I already read, if that makes sense. It was just any books or any authors that I haven't read from yet. So I did complete that, and I did. Currently, actually, I haven't really completed that yet. I am almost halfway through Ronnie Kendig's book, and I still need to complete that. After that, I did already check it off because I forgot. But after I'm complete with Ronnie Kendig's first book in her Drosser and Saga sci-fi series, I can definitely 100% say I read from each author. I just kind of forgot that I didn't finish that book yet. Next is to read 10 new to me Christian authors. And I have probably far exceeded that. I always try to read as many new Christian fiction authors as I can to spread the word of their amazing books. And so far, definitely probably closer to at least 20 to 30 new to me Christian authors. So far ahead of that goal. Then I wanted to read 5 favorite authors backlists. That's not going well. I actually changed my page. If you saw my reading journal setup for 2024, I actually changed it. And I actually made it to be only 6. I think there was like 12. I'm like, are you crazy, girl? You can't even do 1, probably. But this is my favorite author backlog, and I used little note things here. And I love this setup. I'm going to do it again next year. So you will see how I did that again next year. But I have Sarah Sundin, Joan Bauer, Joanna Davidson Politano, Misu Andrews, Melanie Dickerson, and Jamie Jo Wright. Will I get 5 of these read? Probably not. I did mark off 1 off of Joan Bauer's, and I think I've marked off at least 1 or 2 out of Joanna Davidson Politano's. I still have 4 of hers. But I don't think that's a goal that I'm just not probably going to get to this year. I wanted to read more from my favorite authors backlist, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it this year. If I can do 1, that would be great. Next one is to film videos 3 times per week. I am definitely on that goal. I don't count, like, if I really need a break, I don't count that. I give myself a break. I give myself, a break here and there. But honestly, I think I've been good where I think I've only skipped 1 or 2 review book videos. But other than that, I have been on top of things. I have gotten those videos out to you guys. So I'm very happy with how I've been doing. I think I'm even doing better this year than last year already. And so I am on top of that goal. Next one is get my NetGalley percent to 50%. I think it's gone down a little bit more because I requested a lot the past few months. I think I'm still about 30%. I don't know if I'll get to 50. If I get to 40, that would be amazing. But I don't know. We'll see. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's okay. The next reading goal I had was to read 100 books. Oh, I can check that off. It's not checked off, but I am far behind that, or beyond that. I'm actually at book number 125 or 126 now. Technically, I'm all the way up to 123 that I've marked off, but I should just bump that up to 200 because I do read an average of at least 200 to 300 books a year. So, and if you don't, that is okay. I have a dad who reads 4 books a year. It's fine. It's fine. You're good. Whatever you read, whatever you're able to do, that's okay. I just listen to a lot of audiobooks. Although my number of books I'm reading is actually lower because I am reading physical and ebooks rather than audiobooks lately. Next one is to read 30 books of the Bible. I am kind of behind in that. I'm not going to lie. I've been kind of worse off for that. I have only read 2 books of the Bible. I thought I read 3, but I guess not. I have my Bible plan here, which is so cute and so fun and great to fill in. But have I? No, I am currently in Jeremiah. So I am going to get that done. Hopefully, I would love to get it done by the end of next week because Jeremiah is a long book. Never thought it was that big. And so I have a lot of small books like James, Ezra, 1 Timothy, 2 Peter, 2 John. I kind of split them up between last year and this year. And I completed it last year. I think it was just 1 short. But this year, I'm not doing so hot so far. And God's going to have to help me with that to kick me in my bum and read my book every day. So, yeah. And then the last reading goal I had was to read 100 Days to Dream Your Heart Out, which is a Christian nonfiction devotional type book. That's not going well either. I don't even think I read 1 this year so far. Yeah. If I finish half the book, I would be really happy with that. So just remind me in the comments. Just go ahead and read it. You're going to enjoy it. So yeah. So and then the last goal is no pressure to finish goals. And that always helps me at the end of the year when I'm like, oh, I didn't complete that. No pressure, because you put no pressure to finish your goals in there. I do that every year just in case I never finish my goals, which honestly, I really rarely finish all the goals. There's always 1 or 2 that just kind of get thrown to the wayside, and that's okay. All right, so I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Let me know how you are doing on your mid-year goals if you have any. If you don't, that's okay too. You have lots of free time just to enjoy reading and have a good time. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video.